Thanks, guys. Great to be here. Yeah, more crazy news from Crazy Town. You've got this tiny group of fringe, radical, left-wing, totalitarian activists who showed up with a fake reporter to protest and demonize an event hosted by Moms for Liberty, and they ended up making a gigantic spectacle of themselves in the process. This protest, and as far as we could tell, there were two, maybe three people, we're not really sure, organized by a local hate group that is unbelievably bigoted and intolerant toward conservatives, Christians, people of faith, people who reject gender confusion and things like that. And ironically, they ended up highlighting the extremism and really the danger of this totalitarian fringe that is just running wild all across the country. Thankfully, attendees are pushing back. The event took place earlier this month, featured our good friend Dr. Duke Pesta, literature professor, nationally renowned expert on education. He's given over 1,000 talks across the United States. He leads the K through 12 school FreedomProject Academy, and he spoke at this event on extreme sex education, the social emotional learning manipulation of our children, and how parents and communities can resist these threats to children. But these local hate activists, under the banner of hate-free Outagamie, or Outagamie, I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of the county, they saw it differently. They described Dr. Duke as a reactionary ideologue, a prominent member of the infamous John Birch Society, boom, 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 a man who they say is at the forefront of the growing movement to ban progressive books from public schools in the U.S. Moms for Liberty, meanwhile, was described, obviously falsely, as a far-right hate group. Yes, seriously. Now, one of the activists pretending to be a reporter actually wrote a report on this protest, and they fumed about reactionary forces, and this is what they said. Hate-free Outagamie activists came out to declare that even at the very heart of this reactionary movement, even within the belly of the beast, resistance is possible. Obviously, no name on this piece of garbage. And it was ironic. They put it in this fringe Marxist website called Fight Back News. Two activists were pictured there. For those of you not familiar with Fight Back News, which is probably virtually everyone, you think I'm kidding here? I'm not. This is a website that defends and promotes the mass murdering, crazy dictatorship enslaving the people of North Korea. The same dictatorship that puts children and grandchildren in concentration camps if their grandfather speaks out. The same regime responsible for the mass starvation of the Korean people to the point where literally they were engaged in cannibalism some years ago. A regime that has turned Kim Il-sung and the rest of his family into these like god men. So yeah, that's where these people are coming from. They ended up putting a picture of two of their activists in on this article that they had, if you want to call it that. Yeah, they actually had somebody, a fake reporter, who snuck into the event disguised as a normal person and recorded the entire event. But quite interestingly, not one single quote, not one iota of Dr. Duke's speech or anything that happened there was included in the article, probably because they knew it would debunk the fake narrative that they were trying to portray here. Now, several attendees actually sent me comments for this article. One of them, David Kempen, who attended the talk and listened to it, he said this article seemed more about stirring up division versus reporting on what was actually presented, and that could have easily provided quotes of the things that were said. He said, I would have to rate this article mostly misleading and lacking in truth. He said, where's the evidence that Moms for Liberty is a far-right hate group? Said, why wasn't any reporting of what was actually said so that the readers of the Fight Back News could check things out for themselves? And of course, the reason is very obvious, right? This is a fake news website dedicated to, as they say, build the people's struggle, which is of course the same kind of language that every mass murdering lunatic communist of the last 100 years has used before slaughtering enormous numbers of innocent people. This guy went on to or gal, I don't know, or it, whatever, went on to demonize the John Birch Society, saying it is considered by many to be the progenitor of the modern conservative ideology. The website also claimed that the John Birch Society stand for family values was actually a cover to conceal homophobia and anti-communism and other real and imagined sins. Yep, can't make this stuff up. Anyways, Like I said, this website is openly pro-North Korea, one of the most vicious tyrannies in the world. And they are part of, they say on their website, from the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. Again, another pro-North Korea, Maoist, insane group of kooks. Now, their protest appears to have been organized in part on Facebook. According to Facebook, 6 people attended. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But one activist on social media, a professional psychotherapist who goes by the name Jax Anderson, she actually posted a photo of herself with a t-shirt advocating kicking the bleepity bleep out of Moms for Liberty. She lists her pronouns and rages against the patriarchy and firearms, and also bragged on Facebook that she ate beans the night before to stink up their space. A real mature. But really, folks, this kind of escalating hate and violent extremism being directed at parents who love their children, people who want to protect their children from groomers, from perverts, from pedophiles, from being sexualized in school. This stuff is becoming increasingly dangerous. These people are really going off the rails. They talk about Moms for Liberty like it's the KKK or something. Meanwhile, the Biden regime is sicking the FBI on these concerned moms who speak out at school board meetings. But guess what, folks? As anybody who's ever encountered a bear in the woods with her cubs knows, getting between a mom and her baby is dangerous business. Folks, parents have got to recognize these are existential threats to family, to children, and people need to respond accordingly. The reality is that if moms and dads don't protect their children from these perverts, nobody is going to do it. So we got to take this on. We cannot allow these people to bully and intimidate and divide and slander and even advocate violence against concerned moms. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.